What's up? Welcome back to the channel. James here, and in this video I want to break down how I built a coaching business that does over $200,000 a month in cash collected that really only takes me about 5 hours a week to run. Now, before I get into exactly what that looks like, I wanted to give you a bit of a roadmap in terms of what it looks like building up to that, because if you have a coaching business that's making, let's just say, 50 grand a month, 100 grand a month, like there's still a couple of things you need to build up to and put into place to get to the point where it's making that money, but also you're not too involved with it. I wanted to give you the full context that it's going to start from basics and we're going to build it up to that point, but I want to make sure you could see everything because it's a really cool position to be in. To have amazing clients, getting amazing results, getting amazing reviews, but not really having to be too involved in the entire process. This video is going to be an absolute banger if you have a coaching business that you're starting and scaling, or you have a coaching business that's already scaled and you're looking to make even more money with it and free up a bit more time. This video will be a banger for you no matter what. So there's a few different phases that you're going to go through in terms of launching an offer, getting all the way to the point where it's doing over $250,000 a month and you're not really too involved with it. And it's going to start with the design phase. Now this is for people who are brand new. It's a new offer. You're just kind of getting it off the ground. This is where you're really building everything so that you have something to scale in the first place. So that breaks down into your front end and your back end offer creation, your unique mechanism, your client delivery mechanism. Now, in the design phase, we're not going to go too deep on this. Really, this is about building the offer, building everything out so that you can go out there and scale, and also knowing that you can actually deliver results for your clients. And the reason I bring up front end and back end is because a lot of people just purely think about their front end program, and that's great, but if you aren't thinking down the line about your back end offer, you're leaving a hell of a lot of profit on the table. Now, we have videos on this channel. I'll share one up here, going through how we make over $1 million a year in my coaching business purely from our back-end offer. But you need to make sure that you're aware, if this is what I'm helping people with as a beginner early on in the stages, well, what's going to be the next step? What's the next program I'm going to offer them? What's the next problem that gets created that I'm going to solve? You want to make sure you're aware of what those things are. You want to be aware of your pricing, what your avatar is going to be, what your outcome is that you're promising. These are really important things to have. A big thing is your unique mechanism. Because a lot of people, they might go, well, I'm going to have a drop shipping course. And the issue is, if they don't have a unique mechanism, a unique thing that makes that system work, well, they're dead in the water. We built our e-commerce program based around the fact that it's making money with e-commerce without doing all the shit that most people fail at. Building an e-commerce store, spending money on Facebook ads, advertising their e-commerce store on Shopify. Our advertising angle is we help you make money selling simple products online without building a store or spending any money on ads, because we use these free untapped shopping platforms that you can use to get all the traffic you need without spending a dime. That's the entire unique mechanism. Got whole videos about this as well, but we gotta make sure you have something unique about what you do. Otherwise, again, you're dead in the water. Another thing is your client delivery mechanism, because if you can't get your clients results, then you're not going to be able to scale, because before you know it, you're going to get all these bad reviews, your Trustpilot's turned to shit. No one wants to work with you because they found out that you enrolled 100 clients and none of them made money, or they got a result, or that they just had a terrible experience. So making sure that you know what you're going to be teaching them, you know the checkpoints and the things they have to do to get the result, and it's proven and it's validated. You're not making shit up on the fly. It's if they do these things, they will get the results. It's very important you know exactly how you're going to do it, how you're going to deliver it. Are you doing one-on-one? Have you got a course? You're doing group coaching? All this stuff needs to be dialed in, because this is really what turns into your offer. That's the design phase. Knowing what you're selling, having it all mapped out and planned. The next thing is going to be the launch and do everything phase. This is where you launch your MVP funnel. You are enrolling clients. You are coaching clients. You are ascending clients. You're doing literally everything. Now, why do we do that? We want to get proof of concept so that we know this is going to work. Number two, we want to make sure the clients get the best results, reviews, testimonials, and you're also mapping out the ascension process. You're looking at where they're at after they finish and what they need next. You build out the upsell. These are all things you want to do yourself so that you know as you scale, it's not going to suddenly break and nobody wants the offer, nobody makes money, all that kind of good stuff. Very, very key that you know the stuff very well. The other thing is your MVP funnel. Your minimum viable product funnel. What is the easiest and fastest way for you to launch this offer? Well, that is going to be up to you, but for what I teach my clients, that is the IG funnel. I've got a video on my channel breaking down exactly how that works. Simple DM ads running to your Instagram, sell by chat, or booking in a time to speak on a sales call. That's what that is. And so as a result, if we have an MVP funnel, a very simple funnel that you can launch immediately, not having to build some big VSL or a webinar or anything like that. No, we want to have something we can simple launch immediately, get ads live, get people into sales conversations and enroll them, so that we can do the enrolling of clients, the coaching clients, the ascension of clients. So we can launch, we can do everything, and we know that this is going to work, this is going to get results, people want the offer, and it's going to be able to go out there and scale. If you are sort of under 15 grand a month, this is still where you kind of are. If you aren't getting the results, the reviews, you're getting the upsells, like if things are still a little bit wonky, you're kind of in this phase, you need to make sure things are optimized here first. If you need help, you can book a call below. But this is a very simple phase to get out of, but you gotta make sure you do it right first. Now, number 3 is the delegate phase. Now, very, very simply, as you scale, you're gonna have a lot more people, a lot more clients, a lot more people coming in and being a part of your world. And as a result, you can't do everything. As a founder, as a coach, you can't do everything. And so before you start to get super aggressive with scaling, you need to make sure you've actually delegated into little areas so that you can handle the amount of people that are gonna be coming through. Because if you can't handle the people and they have a bad experience, you're gonna get bad reviews, it's bad for business. And this is really where it really starts to come into, hey, here's how we make all this money, but also here's how I have so little involvement with it. Because realistically, there's 3 main areas that are involved in running a coaching business. There is the marketing, cool. There is the sales, and there is the delivery. Of course, you get fancy and go, bookkeeping and stuff, but realistically, there's 3 areas, right? Marketing is ads and content. Sales is really just sort of phone or chat, right? However it is you enroll clients. And then delivery is coaching and ascension, because I have my coaching staff get my clients amazing results so they can double as essentially salespeople, try to enroll them into the next step. We can never do that unless our clients were phenomenally happy and getting results, but that's a conversation for another day. So these are the 3 buckets where if you didn't delegate and you increased your ad spend drastically, you would absolutely drown in these areas. So marketing, ads and content. So it's having somebody running your ads, writing your ads. Another one that could be good if you're not really big on it is copy. Maybe having a copywriter. Having these things in place so that your ads are being run by somebody, so you don't have to manage those. Your content is run by a content team, so you can sit down like I am right now and film it. And hi Cal, hi Mateo, hi Josiah, my amazing team on the content side. I don't have to be involved after I leave this table. That's a great position to be in. And the other thing is copy. If you're not really good at ads or writing, like anything or emails, anything along those lines, getting somebody in the marketing side to do that stuff for you is incredible. Because remember, above all else, if you're scaling, you're a business owner. You're not just a coach who's writing little funny ads and stuff like that. So having these things in place or knowing how to use AI, whatever it may be, getting the marketing side dialed in is amazing because that is what fuels the sales side. The next thing is having a phone closer, a DM closer, a setter, a DM setter, these sort of different things, depending on what kind of funnel you're running, it's important that you have these things in place. So having a phone closer who's trained, knows how to enroll clients, how to handle objections, how to pre-handle objections. Having a DM setter or a DM closer who knows how to take somebody from just an Instagram DM to a client. These are things you want to have in place. You want to have these people trained up and good before you start to crank up the ad spend, because if you don't do that, you have always people coming into your world, but nobody's getting closed and you end up paying the bill. Which brings us again to, we've got the marketing dialed in. So we're getting calls on the calendar, we're getting people into your Instagram, DM close, a DM set, whatever it may be. You're then enrolling them through your sales team. And then from there, it goes to the delivery team where number 1, they coach them. So they actually focus on delivering the results. So you want to train your staff on how to know the program at the back of their hand, how to guide a client through all the different checkpoints that are required to get the results that they need. And then on the other side, have the outcome you're promising in your ads. You've got to have the coaching team be able to do that. And once you've done that, it allows you to add in your ascension offer, your upsell offer, so that your coach can get them the results here and invite them into the ascension offer, which is where a lot of the profit comes from. Now, of course, you will scale spend slowly but steadily. If you're, say, for example, making 15 grand a month in the previous phase, you might start to increase spend and get your sales to 30, 40, 50 grand a month as you go. But you might first dial in, say, the coaching. Right? None of these have to be in order. You might say, well, listen, the thing I enjoy the least is the coaching side. I want to make sure I get the coaching team in here first. I can do the marketing and I can also do sales calls. And then once that's done, you start to increase spend, and it's like, well, maybe I might get a phone closer to take half the calls that I have on my calendar so that I can free up a bit of my time. Then eventually take 100%. And then once that's done, you might go, well, shit, I don't really want to run the ads either. I want to focus on the bigger tier stuff, and you can handle that, whatever. But as your spend starts to scale, you want to make sure that you're adding in these little things to handle the workload, the load of all the people coming through. That's the delegate phase. Once these 3 areas are dialed in, it allows you to get to the point where you can focus on scaling the ad spend, scaling the amount of client flow, but also knowing that you're going to have all the people taken care of. As soon as you have people coming through, you also have a reputation on the line. So you want to make sure you're delivering on the promises, you're looking after the clients. You also want to make sure that if you're getting calls in the calendar or DMs in your Instagram, you want to make sure they're closing, they're converting, otherwise it's a waste of ad spend. So these little things are important, so you got to make sure you do these 3 things properly. Now with my clients one-on-one in Scale Boardroom, I literally place them with coaches. I place them with setters, with closers, with all the different things, media buyers, everything, copywriters, everything you need, because I know how hard it is to find good people like this, and so I place them one-on-one with our clients. But at the end of the day, as you scale spend, making sure you're delegating these. Don't get too crazy scaling until you've got these things dialed in, especially if above all else, you're looking for your weakest link. If your weakest link is sales, get a phone closer as soon as possible. That's good. If your weakest link is coaching, well, go ahead and get some coaches in. Train them up. Get them to know exactly what it is you're teaching your clients so that you can go ahead and focus on the bigger tier stuff. That's the delegation phase that makes everything else work. And that brings us to number 4, which is the scaling phase, which are very simple. You got those 3 areas: delegated, you're scaling your spend, which means you're making more money, you're changing more lives, which is what coaching is all about. And then from there, there's a few things that you want to do. Number 1 is you want to focus on optimization. You want to focus on risk mitigation. And number 3, you also want to focus on additional acquisition streams. Because at this point, you're not having to focus on the sales, you're not having to focus on the delivery, you're not having to focus really so much on the marketing, depending on all the different things that you've delegated. This puts you in a position where these little areas are more strategic, they're more business owner, they're more CEO, if you want to put it that way. But at the end of the day, these are the things that help you make a ton more money, ton more profit, and add a ton more to your bottom line. Now, optimization is very clearly, if you've got a VSL funnel, if you've got a DM funnel, if you've got whatever funnel it is you're running, looking through what's working, looking through what's not, and optimizing them, making decisions, working with coaches to look at, if this is making me a certain amount of money, well, how can I increase this? Or how can I decrease that? All the metrics, how can I make this more profitable? That's what optimization is. Risk mitigation is adding extra ad accounts, adding extra Facebook pages, adding extra Instagram accounts in case one goes down, having multiple forms of payment, like making sure all the different things are in place so if one thing goes down, not everything turns to shit. And then the last thing is additional acquisition streams. So for example, if you've scaled your Instagram, one of the things I like to talk about here in this channel, if you want to get to your first 100 grand a month, one of the best MVP funnels that you can use is an Instagram funnel. Well, it says getting you to 100 grand a month, you're doing over 100 grand a month, but then you might want to add in a VSL funnel, right? Or a webinar. Right? It puts you in a position where you can add in extra income streams, extra acquisition streams. So if they don't buy over DM, they might buy via VSL. If they don't buy the VSL, they might buy via DM. You add these things in to retarget other people, to add extra insurance in case one funnel doesn't work as well for a month or so, you just have a bad month. This allows you to keep the client flow coming in so you're still getting the results, you're still getting the upsells, you're still getting the profit at the end of the day. So even if you have a bad day on this funnel, you're doing better on that funnel. And that's where all these things start to come together. That's what the scaling phase is all about. But the biggest thing is here, this can be an hour a week, this is a few hours a month, and then this might take you a few hours a month as well building it all out, but once it's done, this is handled by the marketing team. This is handled by you, it doesn't take you long, and optimization, again, you can still have the marketing team do that over time. The bottom line is, you're making all this money, you're scaling, you're making 200 grand a month, 250 grand a month like we are, but as a business owner, I'm not having to be as involved in the day-to-day. I'm focusing more so on the things that bring in the profit, the things that bring in the clients, and as a result of doing all that stuff, it allows us to change as many lives as possible. If we go into the Facebook and I see all my clients are winning and they're making money and they're happy and it's blast, they're leaving 5-star reviews, that's what this whole thing is about. And so to recap it all, that's the process that I've gone through. It's a process I work with my clients to go through. It's getting an offer built, launching the offer, making sure we delegate to an amazing, amazing team, and then from there being able to scale so that you can spend your time on the things that matter most in terms of growth, in terms of optimization, and then letting your amazing team handle the majority of the things that they're really, really good at and freeing up your time to the things that matter most. And as a result, we make over $250,000 a month with our main coaching business, and I probably spend about 5 hours of focused time each week on the business because I have an amazing team running those things because I set it all up that way. If you have an offer that's starting to make some money and really starting to grow, you want to make sure you're thinking in terms of this stuff earlier on than later on, because it puts you in a position where you can actually enjoy the fruits of your labor as opposed to being stuck in this really well-paid job that you really have no way out of. So I hope that was valuable to you, and there's 2 types of people who are most likely watching on this channel. There are people who have an offer, they're a coach, they're kind of just ramping up, you're trying to get to those first $100,000 months. If that's you, book in a free one-on-one call, the link in the description below. We'll have a chat, I'll go through a game plan and get you where you want to go. And on the flip side, if you're a coach that's making over 100 grand a month, you're looking to scale and just get more profit, optimize certain different things, or just have some more fun, make some more money, we can book in a call as well. We can go through some more ninja stuff, adding an extra funnel, adding an extra acquisition stream so you can make more money, make more profit, change more lives, but also do it while having a bunch of fun with me in the process. Hope that was valuable to you guys. If there's more you want to see, comment down below, let me know what you want. And from here, well, I'll see you in the next video.